Hello, we have another watch that I think is pretty interesting. People know the history of at least just the normal big three of the Japanese watch companies. Of course, there's Seiko, there's Orient, and there is Citizen. Uh, there's another one that's out there that people probably know the name, but didn't know that they actually made watches. And you see a few of these that pop up on YouTube, but this one's a pretty unique one. Ricoh, Ricoh. And a lot of people probably know them from their copiers and their printers. But Ricoh had a history of making watches going back to the 50s, as far as I know, and at one time actually worked with Hamilton. This particular piece is from sometime in the mid-70s because Ricoh stopped making watches in the early 80s, if I can recall. There's not a whole lot online about their history other than really the collaboration with Hamilton and the fact that they actually were kind of late runners into the quartz game. They made RiQuartz, which you can find those online and through eBay. This was an eBay find. Like most watch collectors, I try to thread the needle and see what I can find. So this one is interesting. One thing to keep in mind is that Ricoh actually made their own movements, so getting parts of these are going to be interesting, to say the least. This one runs quite fast. It probably could use a regulation, but it probably could actually use a service. But it runs fine. I've never had any problems with it. The strap on here is a Hadley Roma, which I tend to enjoy their straps quite a bit. As you can see, it's kind of interesting. I think this is about a 38. Of course, the odd case size, is kind of hard to measure. But you can see you've got a stainless steel case, you've got a gray color dial, and then you've got gold indices, which is why I can do stuff like this using a gold buckle. And that's really quite unique. You don't really see that kind of color. The other thing is it's got a quick set date. And of course you have to set the day. You have to basically thread it back past 2 o'clock, then back to 10, and then go back to 12, and it's just an older piece, so it's to be expected. The other thing is that there were kind of two variants that you saw. The 9 crest there, usually that was an indicator this was actually sold in Japan. There's another indicator that says that it was exported overseas, and you actually saw more of these in the Eastern Bloc countries than you did in the West, so it's kind of interesting that way. Solid caseback, and as you can see the details there. It's just a very unique piece. I've seen these that come, on eBay. I also have another one that's kind of a tonneau case. It's kind of an oval, actually. It's very distinct. But it's a pink dial, and the reason I got it was just, once again, you don't really see a pink dial, and no, I'm not going to be wearing it. As for any other real statistics on it, the movement in here, I believe, is 1906, if I remember correctly. It's really hard to find information on it. It could be an 18, for all I know, but the sweep in and of itself is a little slow. But it gets the job done. So, don't really know anything about this model numbers. Once again, there's just not a lot of information. And it's sad, because this is a piece of Japanese history that a lot of people outside of really Eastern Europe and Japan are not aware of. But they did make some pretty decent pieces, and this is definitely one of them. So, if you have any questions, and as my clock goes off here, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll try to answer what I can. Once again, this isn't a watch channel. I'm just putting it out there. So, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Have a good day.